Hello, my name is Jamelyn Kelly, and I'm going to tell you all about women's basketball, but more importantly, women's college basketball and how it has been on the rise in the past year, kind of more over 2 years. So this year's tournament, the NCAA tournament, the women's championship game got 18.87 million views, while the men's only got 14.47 million views, which is still a lot for both, but the women's did get significantly more views than the men's final game. And so two of the women's final college games in the whole March Madness series, two of the women's games were the most watched college women's games ever, and then more of them were also more watched than the NBA Finals and the World Series in general. And so the Women's College Basketball League is just getting so much more attention from the media just because of players on those specific teams. Players like Caitlin Clark and LSU Angel Reese. Those two have just gotten a lot of media attention, media coverage, and so people have been watching their games strictly to watch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and other players like Paige Buckers, Camila Cardoso, Juju Watkins, and other players like that. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Cameron Brink. Those are a few of the players who have become more popular in the media and everything, because you'll go on your Instagram or on your TikTok and see reels of them playing, just their highlights, their game, saying that, oh, this game is coming on at this time, I want to watch it. It's getting so much more attention just on the media in general than it has ever before. And so I don't know, as a girl, growing up and playing basketball and stuff, you would never have anyone at the games. It would be your parents, your grandparents, the boys who have to sit there because they're forced, and then the other teams, whoever they brought. So it's just really nice to see that it's just getting on the rise, women's basketball especially. And so it hasn't usually been a topic for discussion until recently, just because of the certain players like these two. You can pull up a picture of Caitlin Clark and about, probably 4 years ago, you'd be like, oh, who's playing in the women's tournament? Oh, I have no clue. But then you can ask people now and be like, hey, who's playing in the women's college tournament? And they could have been like, oh, Iowa. And it was actually South Carolina this year. But last year it was Iowa versus LSU. So that caused a whole ordeal for when they played again this year. It made it even more of a bigger stake, because last year they played against each other in the final championship game. LSU ended up winning, so then when they played again this year, it brought so much more attention to the media and everything, because everyone wanted to see it's Caitlin Clark versus, Angel Reese. They wanted to see oh, who's going to win this time? It's a rematch, and then they had this hand thing with the ring and who won the ring of the tournament. It caused a lot more media attention, and then it just brought it back for the next year. And so ESPN said that Caitlin Clark right now is the best offensive guard in decades for women's college basketball. And she has been a singular force who has brought a lot of attention to the media and has brought a lot of different ways of how to play basketball in many years that nobody else has done before. And so last year with Angel Reese and LSU for the final championship game, or no, this year, sorry, it was 18.87 million views, like I said earlier, and then the men's only had 14.47 instead. And so the women's viewership has just been on the rise, and it has been on an 89% increase since last year. And so just the conclusion, I believe that, women's college basketball will continue to increase. And also once these players go into the league, the women's WNBA should also increase some. And so they just brought more attention to the media and more viewers in person and online, watching on TV and things like that. And so just, again, growing up watching, or playing basketball and having no one at the games, I believe that more people will continue to join and watch the games now, just so they can see players and also watch other players possibly grow up and become one of these stars. So they should start watching, the girls basketball when they're younger. And so just in my opinion, I think that everyone should watch, women's basketball in general, and they just already should have been even before it got popular. But I'm very glad that it's popular now, and little me would be very, very happy about it. Thank you.